Hello and welcome to the Adaptive Infrastructure Maturity Model, a step-by-step approach. And as in the break here while we were chatting, it's kind of funny, we were talking about my last presentation. If you haven't seen it, there's a 300,000 piece Lego, the USS Harry S. Truman done in Legos. And I was admitting that for my 40th birthday, my wife gave me the Millennium Falcon, and it's 5,000 pieces. And it's very much a step-by-step approach to building something as complex as that 300,000 piece Harry S. Truman, or the significantly less complex but ever so much daunting 5,000 piece Millennium Falcon kit that my wife gave me for a birthday present, which took me actually 2 weeks to build. And it got me thinking about this presentation here on the maturity model, because a lot of customers that I talk to are saying, you know what, I'm not quite ready for that adaptive infrastructure. That's too complex, that's too much. I can't just go leaping off into that. I don't want to build the whole thing. And they're exactly right, right? It is not something you just leap into. And so if you look at it, what it's really about is building your generation, your data center, building your next generation data center a step at a time. There are very few customers out there that have the opportunity to just greenfield and create a brand new data center. I mean, HP's one, and we've achieved some spectacular results as a result of that. And I'll show those results at the end of this. But by and large, for most of us, it's a piece-by-piece approach. And so where the stages are is you start in a compartmentalized approach like we're in today, or a lot of customers are in today, where I've got to stand up an SAP environment, I've got to stand up an Oracle environment, I've got to stand up a BEA environment, a Cerner environment, a Siemens environment, whatever environment it is. And it's got its own collection of people and managers and technology that's all associated together into that tribe, right? And so the first step is to come up with standardized building blocks, to standardize my organization, and to pick the technologies that I'm going to build as a foundation upon. Then the next step is to optimize, to start using things like partitioning technologies and virtualization so that I can set up the ability to grow and shrink, which is really the next stage as we go to service-oriented. So as a service, as a business service grows out of infancy and into maturity, and then eventually peaks off and plateaus and goes away, can I build an infrastructure that does it with it so I can return those pieces to other organizations as their business process goes through those stages. And ultimately what I'm talking about then is an adaptive and shared infrastructure. So this piece by piece covers a number of different domains. It's not just the technology, which is a lot of what we're going to be talking today, but also management processes. What are my processes that allow this to happen? How do I need to mature them? What does managing servers now mean in a virtualized world? What does software updates and patch updates look like? Organizationally, I change as an IT shop, right? And maybe I'm not organized in the same way that I once was. Maybe I need to change the way my teamwork is set up. And then governance changes as well. And a classic example on this, in terms of governance and processes, is that if you have these flexible containers or services that, as a demand increases, let's say that sale I mentioned in the previous presentation takes off, I want it to automatically collect resources from less in demand or lesser priority environments to support that high priority environment at the time I need it. Well, my governance has to be set up ahead of time to allow that to automatically occur, to allow that kind of server configuration to grow. So I have to introduce the idea of dynamic servers into my governance model. So each one of these maps into specific products that HP sells. I'm trying to simplify this because we all, at the end of the day, we still kind of act like a hardware company, right? Here are the stuff you buy. So as you go from compartmentalized into standardized, well, you're trying to get to a standards base, you're trying to get to reusable components and consistent management. So some of the enabling technologies, blades. And later on this year, HP is going to be announcing blades that scale across the blade enclosure, or an individual blade. So an OS that stretches across multiple blades. Mission critical blades. The entire nonstop organization is becoming bladed. So blades is a key building block to this. EVAs and XP storage, SIM, to manage it, Capacity Advisor, Operations Center, the tools to help manage this, settling on my standards. Then I can go to the next stage to optimize. Here I want to get to a highly available environment. I want to get cross-functional IT structure, so no longer am I just in that compartment, built around, say, my financials or built around my CRM, so that I can actually share between those two organizations. And there I need to start looking at technologies like NPARS, which is electrical isolated partitioning, VPARS, very high performance software partitioning, HP virtual machines, Parallels virtual containers, Xen, VMware, Hyper-V, Virtual Connect. There is a myriad of technologies that I can buy and run on those building blocks such as blades, right? Insight Dynamics VSE and Storage Essentials to help manage those virtualized servers, right? And as I move from standardized to optimized, I can start picking up efficiencies, and I'm making the next step in terms of reducing my overall costs, reducing my overall risks. So then as I move to the next stage towards service-oriented, I start picking up some of that flexibility, right? And I start managing and gaining trust with my business by being able to not only just negotiate good SLAs, but actually deliver on them, right? Just because you have SLAs in place doesn't mean that it's really a good thing for everybody, because it could be a point of distrust. You can also, because of this technology, move it towards a point of trust. So delivering IT as a service. And here you're using things such as instant capacity to flex up and flex down. Maybe pay-per-use type of leasing. Network Center and Storage Essentials and Service Guard and Metro and Continental clusters